Hi. Before going to video, please subscribe to my channel for more interesting stuff.
Story from r/paranormal. Posted by u/ricepentagram. The Ghost Kitten. There's nothing creepy about this story, I'd just like to share. I bought myself a little porcelain cat statue a few months back because of how similar it looked to the cat I'd adopted at the time. It was a little broken, but had obviously been handmade by someone. There are initials and a date on the paw. I think the date is 53, but it's also a bit worn and hard to read. I have it sitting on my floor right before my bedroom door, and when I'd first bought it my cat was absolutely terrified by it. He wouldn't go near the thing, and whenever I moved it, he went scrambling to hide. Now, however, he treats it like a friend and is often seated right beside it. Not only this, but I've had a few encounters where I'd be laying in bed with my cat and sleeping, and I would feel fur brush against my fingertips and would wake up happy to pet him. But when I would open my eyes, he would be dead asleep at the foot of my bed where I left him. Another account was when I had been laying on the floor beside him, and was fiddling with a toy to get him to play. I'd tossed it behind myself, and he went bounding for the toy. After a few seconds, I had felt the pressure of an animal's cold nose against my back, and I had turned expecting him to be sitting there with his toy and found him halfway across the room, laying nowhere near where the pressure had been. He also tends to meow at, and play with things that aren't there. My cat has never been a talkative animal and he only meows when he wants food. He also doesn't enjoy playing much, and won't even touch his toy unless somebody else is inviting him to play. However, recently I've noticed him tugging his toy across the floor to the middle of the living room and pushing it forwards a bit as if handing it over before getting into his let's play pounce position. He also will begin meowing in much different octaves than what I've ever heard to the air, and will slow blink as if making some kind of conversation. I know it's not much, but I do enjoy having what I believe is a little ghost cat wandering my house and giving my living cat some company. Story from r/paranormal. Posted by u/13th grade 2019. Cool ghost story with friendly ghost. Cool paranormal story with friendly ghost. As a baby, 18 years ago, I lived in a house with my parents that they got for $45,000 because a man and his mom recently died in the house. All of his furniture and belongings were left in the house. Anyway, I would always laugh at the wall and talk to it as a baby. My mom had some encounters of projections on the wall but overall felt safe and that the spirit was friendly. The man's name was George and I heard my parents talk about him my whole life. They only knew that he was a nice guy from neighborhood people and that he had no family in Milwaukee where we lived. My dad told me that he assumed something bad happened to this man in his lifetime because he saw peepholes and military strategic stuff planted around the house. I can't really describe it but my dad is a veteran and knows this stuff. After searching for hours today, me and my grandma found his name and I looked him up on Ancestry. I discovered that he was born in Poland in 1927 and that him and his parents were in a DP dislocated persons camp in Germany before coming to the US in 1952. I don't know if these camps are the same as concentration camps but I researched and they're still pretty bad and traumatizing. My grandma is also a Polish woman in Milwaukee born in 1949 and she said her dad worked for this place that helped Polish people after World War II settle in Milwaukee. She said it's likely that her dad knew or worked with George or his parents. I feel like I discovered some mysteries and feel thankful that the spirit played with me and talked to me when I was little. I feel really sorry for him and his family but I hope they had a better life in the US. He never had family here so I hope I was kinda like family to him and that he's at peace now with his mom. And does anyone else know much about DP camps? Story from r/paranormal. Posted by u/jponda_. A couple of my paranormal experiences. This is in relation to my previous post. I have zero idea what I'm dealing with. So a few of you are asking what my previous paranormal encounters were growing up so I'll share a couple. 1. The earliest one I can remember was seeing my grandfather the night after his funeral. I was about 5 or 6 and we had just buried him that morning. I remember being really sad and I asked my mom that night if Grandpa was going to be okay. She did the motherly thing and said he's in a better place now and he's happy. That night I woke up him guessing around midnight to something sitting down on my bed. I rolled over and saw my grandpa sitting there smiling at me. Not a creepy smile but the loving and warm smile he would give me whenever I saw him. I smiled back and asked him if he was okay. He said and I quote, "Everything is fine my dear. I will miss you but know I'm always watching over you." After that he got up and walked out of my room. I told my mom the next morning and she looked kinda confused but she said she was glad Grandpa got to visit me before his big journey. 2. When I was about 11 I was sitting downstairs watching TV with my mom at around 8 p.m. Our living room had vaulted ceilings so you could see up to the balcony, where the stairs led up to and partially the hallway upstairs. My parents' bedroom was right by the stairs and mine and my brother's bedrooms were down the hall. My childhood dog, German Shepherd/Lab mix, was laying at my feet hanging out. Suddenly her ears perk up and she looks up towards the balcony. She then gets on all fours and starts growling and barking. My mom and I both look up to the balcony to see what she was freaking out about. She was very protective of us and would occasionally growl or bark at my dad if she didn't recognize him right away, so normally we didn't think too much about it. Too bad that wasn't the case this time. My mom and I both saw a humanoid shadow come out of my parents' bedroom and darted in human speed down the hallway into my bedroom. I looked at my mom in a panic. She grabbed her wallet and keys and told me to get outside with the dog. This was before cell phones were a huge thing and we didn't have one. We ran across the street to our neighbor's house and called the cops. They show up and go inside. The cops come back outside and they all have a look of confusion mixed with worry on their faces. They didn't find anyone, obviously, but they did find the mirror in my bedroom had a massive crack in it. Needless to say we got rid of that mirror immediately. 3. When I was in the U.S. Navy, around 2012, I was stationed in Charleston, South Carolina for a while. Since there wasn't a whole lot to do other than drink and eat, my buddies and I would go on the ghost tours around all the old cemeteries and old buildings. On one of the tours we ended up at the old Capitol building, I think that's what they called it. This building had been the spot where they used to sell slaves back in the 1700s. As we were leaving I turned around to get one last look and I could have sworn I saw a figure with chains around its wrists and ankles standing where the auction site used to be. Everyone thought I was psyching myself out but I know what I saw. There's a few others but I don't want to bore you guys with all of them. If you want to hear more go ahead and ask. Story from r/paranormal. Posted by u/sharkcuddler. Whistling ghost. This is the first time this has happened in my house so far, but I have no explanation for it so I decided to come here. It helps to mention, a few weeks ago my friend and I stupidly crafted a Ouija board and tried using it, to no avail, but still said goodbye as advised. I'm not sure if this is relevant in any way but I figured I would mention it. I should also add that my roommate asked me a few months ago if I've noticed anything weird in the house, like things being moved or knocked over, which I hadn't besides a few things I just figured I'd misplaced, but I also don't notice these things very easily unless it happens right in front of me. The instance in question that I really can't explain is whistling. This happened at around 6:30 in the morning while I was in the bathroom, and the sound came from outside the bathroom door. Not a direct whistle from a person's mouth, but as if someone googled person whistling and played it out loud. It wasn't the same whistle over and over, instead a few different variations of a come here whistle one would do to their dog to get their attention. The reason this is so disturbing to me is because whenever someone walks past the bathroom door I can hear it. I know if someone's there. I have one roommate who was asleep at the time, and there are 3 people living upstairs from me whom I share a washer/dryer with which is outside the bathroom door. During this I heard no footsteps on the floor above me, on the stairs, or any noise in the laundry area. The washer/dryer are both noisy. The bathroom is also not near the street side of the house, nor are there any windows. After I got the courage to open the door, with the aid of the towel rack bar I decided to use as a weapon if necessary. The only thing outside the bathroom door was my 1-year-old cat, who always waits for me and didn't seem distressed in any way. Has anyone had anything like this happen before? I'm not afraid per se, more so curious because I can usually explain weird happenings but this one has no explanation I can think of. My old house is haunted. I've never talked about this story, as I am still somewhat young, 17, but I am convinced that my old house is haunted. As a small backstory, the neighborhood my family and I used to live in was a new development, no older than 15 years, so I didn't think anything could be haunted or paranormal because it was generally new. We moved in when I was around 6 and moved out when I was 15. I never noticed anything as a small kid, that I remember, but I had a small Barbie alarm clock at my nightstand that would always get stuck at the same time every night. My dad was convinced that I would mess with it but I told him that I never touched it. Anyway, a couple years pass, and I start to notice weird things. I believe I am around 11 or 12 at this time. I am and have always been a generally clean person so I don't like leaving stacks of things around or hanging coats on the doors. One night I wake up because I was freezing and I look over and I see a shadow figure lingering in my corner by the window. I try to turn over towards my closet, the other side of my room, and go back to sleep, but I feel extremely uneasy, as if something was watching and getting closer to me. I quickly pull the blanket over my head as any scared child would do. Fast forward around a year later, nothing creepy has happened since and everything seems to be going fine. I was now 13. I told my parents about that night because somehow I remembered the incident and brought it up. My mom said to stop talking about it because it scared her. My dad said it was just my creative imagination and my brother laughed. After that we all went upstairs and got ready for bed and eventually fell asleep. Except for me. Something was keeping me up but I couldn't put my finger on it. I start to hear a light banging throughout the walls. I tried to tell myself it was just wind but the minute I realized it was a hot and still night, my heart sank. I realized exactly what was happening. It started to get more aggressive. I look at the time and it was somewhere around 3:20ish. I put my head down and tried to fall asleep. I asked my parents and brother the next day if they heard anything strange that night and they said no, they hadn't. Still to this day, I never knew what it was or how to contact it. I haven't had any paranormal/scary encounters since, probably since we moved. But every now and then I drive by just out of curiosity and I get a feeling every time, where I feel sick to my stomach. If you know or have any idea about what this could be, please let me know. Story from r/paranormal. Posted by Ouroboros Insanity. Bang in guest room. So, throughout my life, I've heard numerous bangs coming from the guest room, conveniently across from my room. We live in an area with no possums, or roof animals anyway. You guys probably won't believe me, but it's true. I'm seriously creeped out and I think I need a psychiatrist. Also, last night, there was a rattling noise, as there are Lego models in there. When I checked in the morning they were all broken. Update: the bed sheets were thrown off the bed, it wasn't a windy night and the windows were closed anyway. I'm fucking creeped. Update: oh god oh fuck I just heard a bang. So much for noise cancelling headphones. Oh yeah this is pointless to this post but this is my first post. Oh no another bang. Aw man. I just fixed all those Lego sets, I wish whatever is haunting me would have at least a little respect. NGL this is boring once it goes on for 4 years, you get used to it. But it feels better when you tell someone, you know. Absolutely terrified, gotta go to bed, too tired. What if I sleep in the guest room, why haven't I already tried? Nah, not gonna risk it, see you when I wake up. Can't sleep. The bangs are in burst all of a sudden, like thunder, but there is no thunder. If anybody can explain do so please, I need help. Okay, so basically I got in contact with the previous owners, and they said they heard the bangs too. The bangs. They came closer to the door. I'm gonna spend the night at a friend's. Oh no. It's illegal to do that. Fuck. Well, comment your advice, I need it. Update: I can't do audio and video captures because when I try the camera it spazzes out. I've tried everything, but nothing works. Sorry y'all who wanted to see evidence. I know this sounds like I'm trying to fake the whole story now that I've said the cameras don't work, but trust me on this, it's all real. Update: I was playing Minecraft with my friend but then the room banged. I went off and rushed up the stairs to see if I could catch whatever is happening. As soon as I got to the room the door slammed shut with my hand just inside, now my hand hurts bad. Update: so most of y'all are not believing this, fair enough as I cannot provide video or audio evidence. Update: god damn it the bangs are spiking again. Wish I could get some evidence but, as I've said, the cameras spaz out. Update: the bangs stopped for about an hour, but every now and then there were footsteps coming down the stairs. Update: school is being badly disrupted by this. Update: the bangs are getting louder, I need to soundproof the room, geez.
Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe for more videos.